Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how I built out a scraper to scrape unlimited websites using Cursor. We're able to get the website data and we're able to get the emails as of right now. And this is super beneficial for any business because it increases your margins. It also accesses leads that aren't usually known in many databases. And it follows the trend now information is now becoming open source. Everybody is like the cost of being a coder in itself is minimal. Like you can use English and you can whip up a scraper. I did this in give or take a week and a couple of hours of kind of twiddling around, figuring out the best process. Um, so basically, we like just to talk about this, right? Cursor for some reason is still loading for me, but everybody kind of knows Cursor as of right now. So I'm just gonna cut this off. So Cursor right now is an AI coding tool. For some reason, it's not even loading, but Cursor is an AI coding tool that I've been using, and I can bring up the panel here, and it looks kind of like this. This looks extremely intimidating. People are like, this is like, it's code. I have to go through and I have to do all this stuff. And if I like, this is Python embed, this is JSON, we have the requirements, this is the TXT. If I come over to here, like this is the actual scraper code on how the scraper is built. But if I was to tell you that I built this using just natural language, and I have a couple hundred hours of coding, but like in Python specifically, but to build this out, I would need a lot more time. I need to understand a lot more variables, how to send a HTTP request to a site, how to then parse the data, how to then import that into a sheet. And I also do think, just on this, right? I do think there's a world where coders still exist. I think that like this has just opened up an avenue for other like smaller business owners, but like to get more advanced knowledge or to understand this more with programming, because I think programming and coding are slightly different. Programming is more high level. It's I understand how to fit all of these variables together. I know how to use all of these libraries and like actually create the infrastructure, which AI as of right now, man, I would not trust that. I would not trust that to do anything. So yeah, we basically went through, and I don't think I can get my chat history up here. Yeah, for some reason it deletes the chat history, which is really unfortunate. But oh, I don't even know how to get that back. Shoot. Close this up. But basically, all you do is, let me see, open and lock group configure. Basically, like within that chat window, all you do is you go in and you just type in, you're like, hey, I need to build out a scraper. I'm going to give you a CSV file. And ideally, you put the CSV file. So if I just show you, so if I just close this and I close this and I close this right now. So I'm going to bring this over because this is a different screen. So this is the file. I hope this isn't too small. Let me bring up OBS again. Yeah, okay, it's kind of small. Disregard the back screen or the background. Becoming generational. But this is basically the file we have. It's on the desktop, and we are basically running this on 30 servers right now. And I'm just gonna bring this back just so it's not being bad. Okay, we're gonna bring you all the way back here. Thank you. And basically, the file looks like this. And when you open up Cursor, it gives you the option to open up a file. So we opened up the file on Scraper Part 2. And within this file, ideally you have the type of data that you want to scrape. So the AI can then look into the data set, be like, hey, XYZ, this is what it kind of looks like. I want you to scrape the website. And what I basically asked it is, I want specific details on scraping time between websites. I want specific details on how many websites to scrape, and I just need to be able to input the file. So the way this works is if I hit run scraper, I'm just bringing this over. Sorry. It brings up a terminal. And this is basically what we're using right now, right? It'll basically check for site packages because so if I bring this back up, on some of the servers that we have, we're just running like general like Contabo servers. And we basically downloaded the Python embed file, and this is basically the like Python like code in itself, so we can like actually run with all the libraries and everything. And we had to download this onto each laptop. It's pretty large. It's like kind of large. But the thing with the Python embed file is we don't have tkinter or tinker, whatever the name is, and that basically helps us create like a GUI, which is a graphical user interface. So we weren't able to do that, so we just kind of opted in for using a terminal. So the way this works is you basically click on Run Scraper. It opens this up. And then what it's going to do is, let me just bring this over here so I can do this. And basically what it's going to do is, let's say this is driving schools. This is a driving schools overview from the site data. So if I bring this back up, for some reason that is still loading, which is wild. It's definitely my internet. No way, no shot cursor is down. So basically the reason this has come into fruition is at mtos.com/leads, we're open sourcing millions and millions of leads daily. And for some reason, there is something really wrong with my internet right now, which is really quite unfortunate. But basically, we're open sourcing millions and millions of leads, and you can basically download them at any point in time that you want. There's no barrier to entry. We're not even asking for like some sort of opt-in. Like it's genuine. Like this is the site, right? You scroll down, and then let's say you wanted like plumbers, and I hope this doesn't take too long again, but you hit plumbers, it'll bring you to a Google Drive file. And from the Google Drive file, you can just download the dataset by itself completely. But I was getting a ton of requests from people saying like, "Hey, I need um I need I need the emails with this data as well. Because if I don't have the emails, it's like how do I start contacting these people?" So I said to myself, "Okay, let's sit down and let's see how to actually do this." So you take this driving schools overview data, you plop it in here, and it just maps over the file path. You hit enter. You enter the number of parallel workers, which is 8. You can change this to 0.3. So I usually do 0.3. And this is like the time. So let's say the site has two data sets. Sorry, if the site has an XML site structure, which is just like the structure of the site, and it has two, let's say there's two of them, right? And what this will do is it'll do like a 0.3 login and like between sites. And this is just to like stop scraping because it's not normal to, I guess, let me see here. It's not normal to have a human won't go between sites in like 0.3 seconds. So you can adjust this however you want to fit, just basically to fit it, right? So if you increase it, there's a smaller chance of you getting blocked. Let me just bring this up here. So this is just a data set that were florist emails. Okay. So this is the setup, and if we enter, let's say 2 pages maximum, it'll then basically say like, hey, this is the setup that we're looking for. And basically when you hit enter, it'll then go through and it'll run locally on your monitor, and then it'll start making HTTP requests to each page. So it's like, okay, hey, we're reading this file. You're gonna see this happen now. It's 40. I think it's 40,000 rows. You're gonna have to quote me on that. Or it's like 30,000. Um, yeah, it's gonna take a while to kind of loop through. When you start doing this on larger files, it is wild. So let's see. Okay. So what you're gonna see? Okay, sorry, 23,000 rows. So we have 23,000 here, and what you're gonna notice is if we come into here, it should start working now. So, okay, so processing 10 out of 23,000. Successful 5, current row 2. Obviously, the data is kind of like lagging here and there, but trust me, this works. I've literally scraped so many emails with this. It's actually wild. So it'll start working through current row 21, successful 14. The reason it's not all successful is because some of these websites or these companies don't have websites. So, of course, we don't go and scrape them then. And this data set then looks like this. So yeah. So basically what we'll get is we'll get the site data. So this is like, so if I click into this, for our ADA experience, marketplace, emails, this is basically a JSON format. This is the URL, this is the title. And the reason we got the site data as well is when you use this for any sort of outreach, usually you want the site data. And it's cheaper to run this like a model, right? Like when you use Claygen, a run is give or take around a tenth of a cent, or like maybe 2/10 of a cent, or yeah, something like that. But when you use like a base model that has already like the site data has already been scraped, then you can put that model through and it halves the cost generally. It's around like instead of a tenth, it's about 1/20th of a cent. So that means you can double the amount of output you have if you already have the site data. And then what you're going to notice is we then have some of the emails. So these are emails from directly from the site. So like we care, and we try and scrape as many as possible. I'm going to see if I can find one here with So usually, so if I just, for some reason it's not here, so I'm gonna wrap the text, and then it sort of messes it up, and then we do this. Okay, this just gives me a better idea. Hopefully we can find one with multiple emails. It seems like that's not going to happen. Oh, here we are. Okay. So like this is one of them with multiple emails. And some of these emails are obviously wrong. So like PNG, etc. But you'll notice that we have a comma in between. And what this means is if you wanted to go through it, let's see if we can find a better example. Um seems like these guys have a lot of the same like dot py or something. No, no. Uh Okay, it seems like florists don't like to have multiple emails on their site, which is completely understandable. But we'll then have it in a format where you can like loop through, you can get whatever emails you want, and then you can work your outbound off of that then. And that's obviously another part of the process because people want to have as many emails as possible. They want to hit the personal ones, they want to hit the business ones. And this basically took like a week, but it was so worth it because look now as we're working through, like as we're recording this video, this is going to keep scraping for us as we kind of move through the process. And if you run this on a couple of servers, or you run this at scale, you can then scrape hundreds of thousands of leads over a weekend. And then this gives you leverage on like if you're targeting these people, these are emails that other people like I wouldn't say definitely, but there's a high likelihood that other people do not have these emails or these contact points. Very, very important. Because if you reach out to people that barely get emails, the response rate will be better. Like it's just a basic cause of human nature. They don't have as much what's the word, bias, where like they get tons and tons of the same email and they just kind of get bored of it. Like what does this actually do for me? What does this mean? So that's the first thing. And like if people don't have the other data, and then you get the site data, so you can then double up and you can say, hey, we have some of the site data here. If some of your outreach leverages on I just want to pull some of the initial data, I want to confirm if this company is a florist company, you can run it cheaper at scale using the site data. You can then double your outbound, cut your cost by about 50%. On the margin and the things. So yeah, that's generally the setup. I would so recommend looking into Cursor. I think the pricing is like $20 or something for a plan. And this like I built this whole scraper on the $20 plan, and I think I've way more like I have way more on this. So it just took a lot of twiddling around, messing around, trying to understand how some of this works. So yeah, if this is something you're interested in, I would definitely look into it. And if you want millions and millions of free leads, have a look at the site here. The leads with of course the site's not going to load, and the leads with the emails are going to be added to the sites soon. So I would keep tuned for that. If you're watching this later, it is probably actually already been added. So yeah, I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you now. Bye.